Well, as we await this market open, traders sent stocks to record highs in the wake of Donald Trump's decisive presidential victory. And new developments are taking shape with his cabinet coming to fruition. Earlier this week, the president-elect named Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to the Department of Government Efficiency in an effort to curtail government spending. Well, the department, not an official government agency, would work with the White House and the Office of Management and Budget. And joining me now with more is Durkin. He's a political expert and CBS News contributor. JD, it's great to have you.
Good to be with you. Good morning.
Great to see you. So it's been about a week since you and I touched base, of course, in the wake
Feels like a month, but
of these election results. Indeed, DOGE for short, Department of Government Efficiency. What does this mean?
I think everyone is still trying to figure it out. Not the first attempt here from an incoming president or a Congress to try and figure out where's the pork, where's this all extra spending that we want to get rid of. It's just not entirely clear, Kristen, exactly how this is going to work. There is a law on the books signed from 1972 that gives the president of the United States pretty broad authority to sign an executive order, and in doing so, take the advice and counsel from private sector participants, in this case Ramaswamy and Elon Musk. If this is created as an agency as people are expecting it to be, it's not clear that they would actually need Senate confirmation, but they would be still subject to federal ethics laws. And that might be one thing for Ramaswamy, an entirely different set of unique challenges for Elon Musk. His companies, Tesla, SpaceX, and the others have been not just under subject of a really staggering number of federal government investigations, but you also got all these lucrative contracts, $15 billion for SpaceX alone between their work of the Department of Defense and NASA, and under those federal ethics laws, he would have to divest himself or figure out a way to remove himself from direct conflict of interest. So this is the sort of thing in this transition lame duck period of the outgoing Biden administration we're going to talk a lot about, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
I think the Senate is still trying to figure out what this actually looks like in practice.
Okay, so I do need to ask, great context that you're always able to provide for us, JD. The facts here on NYSE TV Live is DOGE. We know that Elon Musk had been a big supporter of Dogecoin, Department of Government Efficiency. I mentioned DOGE earlier because that is the acronym in some ways of this, and we've seen cryptocurrency be on a rise in the wake of a decisive Trump victory. Is there a connection to make here?
I think for Elon Musk, it's a fun connection. Now, Dogecoin itself, as the meme coin, it's up some 250% in the last month, but Tesla's stock is also up 50% in the last month. And listening to Ramaswamy give his interviews, he says, we're going to have a lot of fun in the process here. Elon Musk has called for a public commentary period of sorts where he says he wants this to be very transparent. Kristen, I have no doubt he will leverage the awesome power he has on the artist formerly known as Twitter, which of course he bought for $44 billion, now X, to get direct insight and input from the public about where do you want to see cut spending, what parts of the government should we look to go after. Again, it's not entirely clear. Now, the thing that's worth noting is that the president can create this Department of Government Efficiency without Congress, but the president very much needs Congress to enact any of the spending cut recommendations that come about from Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy. And that's why that underscores the challenge for Senate Republicans right now in terms of that 53 votes that they have, and they really can't afford to lose very more to either get these nominees across the finish line or to enact these spending proposals.
I do want to talk about that because it effectively, since we last spoke, now is certainly a red sweep in D.C. What will that mean for policy going forward?
It means that there are a lot of things, especially in terms of the tax code and I think re-upping those Trump tax cuts. He doesn't need 60 votes in the Senate. He doesn't need a supermajority. He's going to use this very wonky procedural mechanism known as budget reconciliation. All you need is 50 votes plus the vice president in order to change parts of the tax code. But in terms of like immigration policy, a lot of other sweeping policy proposals, you will still need 60 U.S. senators to end the filibuster. In other words, end that debate to actually put a piece of legislation on the floor for a vote. And we can't forget that in this current makeup of the Senate, yes, Republicans will have 53, but 3 of those senators voted to convict Donald Trump. So we're going to keep an eye on Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and Bill Cassidy of Louisiana. You also got people like Tom Tillis in North Carolina, not always a Trump fan, and also Mitch McConnell. He may not be Senate Majority Leader for very much longer, but he is still going to be a member of the U.S. Senate. So that margin is really close for Republicans to even pass budget reconciliation. You need some of those skeptical GOP voices to align with Donald Trump. And then pass policy proposals for that. When you need 60 votes, you're going to need a handful of Democrats to be willing to go against their own party's interests and side with the president.
We only have a few moments left, JD, so just in about 15 seconds, what does this mean for Fed Chair Jerome Powell?
It seems as if he's going to be allowed to finish out his term. We're going to have a lot of conversations about Fed independence. I know that Donald Trump wants more of a say, but Powell has been very clear that if he's asked to step down, he says, I serve at the pleasure of Congress, not the president. I will not step down. But certainly the conversations about Fed independence are going to be something very front and center once the FOMC continues to meet in 2025.
JD, I hope you'll come back. Such great insight as always. Our resident political expert and a CBS News contributor, JD Durkin, joining me on set.